Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia video, and today we are going to do another BT token guide. It's that time of the month again, where we're starting a new month off. So for those of you not familiar with these guides, I like to, at the beginning of every month, do a BT token guide for those of you that are maybe approaching 50 tokens and want to know who you should be buying with your BT tokens at that time. So this video should be going live on March 1st. So I've actually got 9 units I'm going to talk about today, and obviously a couple of disclaimers, right? One is before buying a BT for somebody, you want to make sure you have the LD. A unit, you need to have the LD for them to fully function well, okay? Unless you're just future planning and you just want to pick it up now and then you're planning to pull the LD later, that's always fine. The other disclaimer is I'm pretty much going to be talking about picks based on like meta relevancy and like what are the best units in the game. But your favorites will always override that. So if there's a unit that is a favorite that has a burst, like feel free to pick up that unit. Even if they're not good now, they always get reworks and they'll be good at some point. So that's something else. So if you have a question about a specific character that I don't talk about, you want to know if they're good or they're going to be good anytime soon, just hit me up in the comments and I'll let you know. So on the first page here, I'm going to talk about probably the top 3 I would recommend, or the main 3 that I would recommend, and this is because this to me right now is the best team in DFFOO, and this is the team I've been using on all my like Lufenia Plus videos lately. So if you look at my channel, you'll see a lot of these best team in DFFOO videos. So to me, this is like the best team. They all have bursts and they're all absolutely crazy. So if you wanted just my straight up #1 pick, it would be Garnet. So Garnet is absolutely ridiculous. We just got her as the 4th year anniversary unit. She basically does anything. She can carry any 2 other characters. She's an insane support unit, but also does really good damage, has follow-ups in her kit. She's crazy. If you want to know more about how Garnet works, I do have a character guide on my channel you can check out. But Garnet is absolutely busted, and she's going to be busted for a very long time. So you're going to get a ton of use out of Garnet. You can basically run her for probably like 8 months to a year. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, you're going to be able to run her for a really long time, and she's going to be good, and she's going to be relevant. My #2 pick would probably be Locke. Locke is one of the newer BTs that just came out. What makes Locke so busted is his BT effect does defense ignore for the party, which basically means you don't even have to rely on like a lot of attack up support necessarily. You can just pierce through the defense. And then Locke just has a ton of utility in terms of like healing and other things that he does. He can do some free turn shenanigans. He can kind of skip ahead. He has a sneak slash. He can skip ahead. And he can do a lot of damage. So when you get his big attack off, he can do like anywhere from 1 to 2 million damage on an HP plus, which is really crazy. So he's got a lot of damage utility in his kit as well. So yeah, Locke is very, very good. And he's like my favorite character. So it's like a no-brainer for me to get him, right? And then the other unit I'm using a lot is Machina. And Machina is just a character that is aging very well. He's only a C80 character. So if you want a unit that you don't have to invest like the new crystals in, like Machina is actually a pretty good pickup. He's basically just like pure damage. And I use him for his burst phase. I'm very consistently putting up like 15 mil to 20 mil burst phase with Machina. And basically the Lufenia fights, what I do with this team essentially is I set up like for a Machina burst phase, and then by the time his burst phase is done, the bosses are basically dead. So the fights have been going very quick with this particular team build. You don't have to have this particular team build. This is like overkill. This team right here is about the most overkill you can get in DFFOO right now, but those are 3 units that I'm recommending. So Locke and Machina are more like, well, Locke is like utility and DPS, but like pure DPS would be Machina. Garnet is just like everything. So Garnet would be my #1 pick. Once again, you would either have to have the LD for these characters or be willing to spend and buy the LD bundle where you get a token where you can pick an LD. That's pretty much your option for them. The second batch I'm going to talk about is these are units coming out like very soon or have just dropped, right? So right now, Gilgamesh is currently out. I actually would not recommend Gilgamesh unless he is a favorite. His damage is just okay. He has a lot of RNG in his kit. He does get like free turn HP pluses, but it's like random what they do. They all do pretty good things, but they're not things like you can count on. So like, for example, one of his HP plus attacks can launch. One of them can turn manipulate, but like in a fight, like you kind of want to know when you're getting those things if you're trying to plan a certain way, or like if you're trying to use him for a launch orb, you can't guarantee you're going to get that launch when you want it, right? So Gilgamesh, yeah, he's not the greatest to be honest, so I wouldn't go for him unless he's a favorite. Theodore, same thing. Like, Theodore isn't bad. He's got some utility. He's got some healing in his kit. He does okay damage, but he's kind of just like okay at everything he does. The thing with Theodore is there's units that do what he does so much better. So once again, unless Theodore is a favorite, I probably wouldn't recommend him. If you've got Garnet, you have no need for Theodore, for example, right? Then we've got Titus. So Titus is coming back with his C90. Titus was absolutely busted when his burst first came out. And I think now with this C90 upgrade, because there's people that are still using Titus now. So Titus I actually could recommend as a very decent pickup. You can see mine is blue armored ready to go. So I am going to green my Titus. Titus does some free break stuff, some free turn stuff. He does a lot of damage. He's got follow-up. So he's a great damage dealing character. The thing that makes Titus really good now when he gets his upgrade is his one weakness was his EX wasn't a very good button to press, but you had to press it to like keep one of his buffs up. Well, now when he gets a C90, his EX actually does really good damage. So Titus like doesn't have very many flaws in his kit, and he's very good at what he does. So if you like Titus and you want like a really good solid damage dealer, I think Titus is actually a fine pickup for you, especially. All right. And then this one is this one I don't believe was announced in the community stream, but I'm guessing this will drop in March. But there is a Start Dash Banner rerun. We've already got Lightning C90. We actually got hers early. But then Cloud and Squall will get their C90s as well. And I think all these characters are fine choices to pick up if you like them. I think Cloud for me would probably be the best of the three. For those of you unfamiliar with Cloud, he's got Paralyze and Launch in his kit and does like really good damage once he gets his C90 upgrade. Squall is kind of like a pure damage AoE specialist. You could almost think of him as like the physical damage version of the twins, where he's just doing, his damage isn't like as evenly split as the twins. Like he'll be doing like 900k to 1,000,000 to one target and then maybe like 300k to the other targets, but he's dealing out tons of AoE damage. So if you like Squall and you want like just pure AoE physical damage, Squall is not a bad pickup. And then Lightning, she did get a little bit more AoE with her upgrade, but I still kind of think of her as more of a single target. She's a very speedy, turn-stealing type character. She's got some delay in her kit, so if you like that style of play, very fast, stealing a lot of turns, Lightning could be a good pickup for you. I did green mine, mostly just because I had extra materials. To be honest, I'm probably going to green Cloud and Titus, and maybe Squall. I've got enough to green them all. I've actually got a decent amount of extra materials right now, so we'll see how I'm feeling, but that's basically the 9 units I want to talk about. Doesn't mean they're the only choices for you. You can pick literally any BT that's ever released. Once again, you could pick an old character that maybe you really like them and you know they're going to come back at some point. But these are the characters that are kind of relevant to right now in this month, and that's kind of what I want to keep the video to. So basically, to summarize, if you could pick one, I would pick Garnet. Locke would be my number 2. I would say like Machina and Titus could be kind of like tied for number 3. Because they're both really, really good. It's just Machina is like if you want to abuse that really high burst phase mechanic where he's just like his HP pluses are just 1 to 1.5 mil per attack, which is kind of crazy, right? So anyways, I hope this helps you guys out. Once again, if you have a question about a particular character or want advice on a certain character, please hit me up in the comments. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you all in the next one.